So, welcome viewers to another session of English. It's a continuation of what we have been looking at in our program at Ansaaru Nursery and Primary School. So, my name is Mr. Wanyonyi. It's important to introduce myself once again for the perhaps viewers who could be viewing me for the first time. So, in the previous session, we were looking at direct and indirect speech. Indirect speech, which is also referred to as reported speech. And I remember to have exhausted that area, a very examinable area indeed. And I gave out a simple exercise for practice, the KCP sample questions of 2007, 2008, 2011, 2015. Let me hope you went through them. And in case of any difficulty, you can contact us on our program, and I shall be ready to assist you. Today, because of time, I would like us to look at another examinable area, which is on question tags. This is another examinable area. We are just looking at assorted grammar. English paper is divided into basically 4 areas. 1, we have the clause test, as I told you. 2, we have the assorted grammar. 3, we have the comprehension part. And 4, we have the composition writing. So basically what we have been looking at is assorted grammar, which is normally tested from question 16 to 25. It doesn't mean that we shall not look at other areas. Given time, we shall exhaust the entire paper. So question tags. What rings into your mind as a learner, as a viewer, when question tags are introduced or come across such a question? Basically, when we talk about question tags, what should come in your mind is as follows. That 1, find out the definition of question tags. 2, find out the rules governing question tags. 3, find out punctuation on question tags. So 3 things are very vital when it comes to question tags. What is it that is said to be a question tag? Or in simple language, what are question tags? 2, what are the rules that you should follow when attempting to answer a question on question tags? 3, what is it that punctuation marks, which punctuation marks, and how are questions on question tags incorporated with punctuation when examiners test learners? Now watch carefully, watch keenly as we sail together. First and foremost, may I define question tags? That a question tag refers to a question that is put at the end of a statement seeking for clarification or confirmation from the listener. The definition of a question tag is that a question tag is a question that is put at the end of a statement seeking for clarification, viewers, or confirmation from the listener. What does it mean? Consider this simple sentence. You have, this is an example. You have taken lunch. You have taken lunch. Someone has placed that. Then when goes ahead saying, you have taken lunch, haven't you? Haven't you? In this sentence, you realize the first bit before the comma is treated as a statement. The second bit immediately after comma, it has come in form of a question. This question is seeking confirmation to whoever was asked this question to find out if this person had taken lunch or not. The response is very simple. That if this listener had taken lunch, will you use yes, I have. However, if this listener had not taken lunch in denial, he will use no, I haven't. That's why I've said that a question tag is a question that is put after a statement seeking for clarification, seeking for confirmation from the listener. And the expected answer is either yes or no. Then what is it that we are talking about as a statement? Basically, under question tags, there are two statements we need to put at the back of our minds. One, we need to remind ourselves of a positive statement, and two, remind ourselves of a negative statement. In a very simple and clear language, a positive sentence also refers to as an affirmative sentence. These are sentences expressing agreement. However, negative sentences, which are also referred to as informative, are sentences expressing disagreement. Maybe to elucidate or elaborate on the two, consider these two sentences your teachers may have taught you in grade 4 or class 5 and 6. That one, John is sick. And two, John is not sick. You will realize that John is sick is treated as a positive sentence. However, John is not sick is treated as a negative sentence. So this one is disagreeing, but this one is more or less an agreement. That you are in agreement, John, whom you are talking about, is sick. Therefore, the first sentence is positive, but the second sentence is negative. So our center of interest is question tags, which have clarified that question tags are questions or normally put at the end of a statement seeking for clarification or confirmation from the listener. And the expected answer is always either yes or no. That's the first item we have looked at. Now, for a question tag to qualify, in this case on punctuation, please note the following. Let us consider the sentence we had used earlier on. You have taken lunch. Then haven't you? In this sentence, example sentence, please note for rules. At the beginning of this sentence, there is a capital letter. So begin a sentence with a capital letter. Number 2, at the end of this statement, there is a comma. So please end a statement in a comma. Then introduce the tag in a small letter. Introduce the tag in a small letter. And finally, end the tag in a question mark. And a question tag, tag in a question mark. These are the 4 basic rules as a learner, as a candidate. You need to put at the back of your mind when it comes to question tags. That, first and foremost, begin your statement in a capital letter, end your statement in a comma, introduce the tag in a small letter, and end a question tag in a question mark, since it is a question placed at the end of the statement seeking for clarification from the listener. So these are the 4 basic rules that as a candidate you need to work with them as your weapons when you are answering question tags. What are other basic rules? Number 1. Other basic rules include that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. A helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. Now, what are these helping verbs? Maybe to elucidate for purposes of understanding the meaning. In this context, there are 2 types of verbs. 1, we have the main verb. 2, we have the helping verb. The main verb is a verb that expresses the meaning in itself. If I say teach, you find a teacher teaching. Stand, someone standing up. Sit, come, jump, among others. They express the meaning in themselves. However, the helping verbs also refer to as auxiliary verbs. These are the verbs which help the main verb to show the time at which the action takes place. They help the main verbs to show the time at which the action takes place. Consider such verbs as is, just to mention but a few. When you see is in a sentence, you are reminded of present. I, present, were, past, was, past, has, perfect, have, perfect, had, perfect. So they're assisting these main verbs to show the time at which the action takes place. If we can borrow leave of our first example sentence, where we said that you have taken lunch. You have taken lunch. As a candidate, first and foremost, try to find out two things. First, find out the subject in that sentence. Two, find out the helping verb in that sentence. They are the subject and the helping verb that shall help us derive the appropriate question tag to fill in the gap successively. So in this case, you have taken lunch. In this sentence, you have taken lunch. Our subject is you, the one we are referring to in this case. And have is the helping verb. Then, basically, we realize that to this positive sentence, we are entitled to add a negative sentence. So our helping verb here is have, which is positive. And to a positive sentence, we are entitled to add a negative question tag. The negative form of have is have not. Because we shall make this sentence or verb negative by introducing introducing not, sorry. So when we attach not to the auxiliary have, we form have not. Then we get the abbreviation of have not, which in this case is haven't. So considering the subject is you, our question tag now is haven't you. So my center of interest with respect to my rule that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. In my statement, we have. In the question tag, as much as it is haven't, have has equally been repeated. That's why I've said that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. Though there are exceptions, as we shall see in our subsequent rules. There is something I've mentioned that to a positive sentence, add a negative question tag. And the vice versa is true, that to a negative sentence per se now, negative sentence or statement, now add a positive question tag. To elaborate more so that you are able to substantiate the two with the relative is, may I add in or add on the following words that will be able to tell that a sentence is negative if we have the following words in that sentence. First and foremost, we had not. We can add on no. We have never. We have scarcely. We have barely. We have rarely. We have nothing, also hardly, not forgetting few, and little, among many others. That words like not, no, never, scarcely, barely, rarely, nothing, hardly, few, little, none, among others, when they appear in a statement, that statement is treated as negative. And to a negative sentence, we should add a positive question tag. However, to a positive statement or rather sentence, we need to add a negative question tag. An example is the one illustrated here. But we can give another one. She is unwell. That's another example. She is unwell. Two things. Identify she as the subject. Identify is as our helping verb. With reference to rule number 1, that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag, our helping verb here is is. Is positive. The negative form of is, whereby is plus not, is not. The short form of is not is isn't. So our question tag here shall be, isn't she? We can still rewrite this sentence into the negative by saying she is unwell now becomes she isn't unwell. So presence of not in that sentence makes it negative. So to she isn't unwell, whereby if we now open up she isn't unwell is same as she is not unwell, which means she's healthy. So she is not unwell. So if we want to give the question tag to this statement, to a negative, we write the positive tag, whereby the positive here is. The positive form of is not is. So the question tag derived on this because of she now becomes is she. Let me hope we are together, viewers. There are situations whereby we may not access the helping verb in a statement. That's another troublesome issue that we need to tackle it together so that it may not create you problems. Very fast. In any case you don't get a helping verb in a statement, so there are situations where the examiner can give you a question without a helping verb in a statement. Yet we have said that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. Consider the following sentence. That is number 2. That the head teacher rarely comes to school late. The head teacher rarely comes to school late. When you keenly look at this sentence, there is no helping verb. Yet we have said that a helping verb in a statement corresponds the helping verb in the question tag. Now, what are we supposed to do? 4 steps are very important. First and foremost, try and identify the subject in that sentence, whereby the subject can be singular or the subject can be plural. So identify the subject in that sentence. Number 2, find out the nature of the statement. The nature of the statement. That is the statement positive or the statement is negative? Very important. Friend, identify the tense in that sentence. Basically, what do I mean? Is the sentence in the present tense or the sentence is in the past? Then 4, relate all these with the correct verb form of do. That is, do, does, or did. Those are the 4 basic things you need to put at the back of your mind whenever you come across such a question without a helping verb. What is the subject? In our statement, the head teacher rarely comes to school late. Our subject is singular, whereby in this case, it is the head teacher. So put a tick on singular if you are watching me. 2, the nature of the statement. Is it positive or negative? The presence of the word rarely reminds us that this sentence is negative. So, put a tick on the word negative. Then what quickly comes into your mind? That to a negative sentence, you add a positive question tag. Therefore, our question tag here shall be positive. Item number 3, find out in which tense is the sentence. And for you to be able to identify the tense of the sentence or statement, please look at the main verb. Look at the main verb. Whereby our main verb here is comes. Comes is in the present tense because the past tense of come is came. Since it is come, though bearing s in the last position or final position with regard to the head teacher who is a singular subject. And in Concord, as I told you last time, that to a singular subject we add a singular verb. That's why there is s in the final position. So, our sentence is in the present simple tense to refer to a habitual action. So, how shall we relate here now? I say that having now identified the above 3 items, now relate it with the do, does, or did. In which manner? Do and does are used in the present. However, did is used in the past. But we use do with I, we, you, and they. However, we use does with he, she, and it. Where shall we classify our head teacher? He. So if we categorize our head teacher to be a he, then he shall go with does. The sentence is negative, the question tag is positive, and therefore the answer shall be does he? Question mark. So whenever you come across such a question, please adhere or follow these 4 steps and you'll never find any problem. Just maybe a last example to beef up on the mastery of the same. We can have that Abrizak resembles his father. Abrizak resembles his father. Still, there is no helping verb here. 4 basic steps, very vital. 1, identify the subject. Our subject is Abrizak, and Abrizak is singular. 2, help me identify the tense. If you are watching and you realize that the tense is present, as I told you, please, if you want to find out the tense in this case, consider narrowing down. Let your focus be on the main verb. Our main verb here is resemble. So the tense is present. 3, what is the nature of that statement? Is it positive or negative? The statement is positive because we don't have such words like no, not, never, nothing, rarely, barely, scarcely, hardly, little, none, and few. So if we don't have such, then this statement is positive. Whoever is putting across that statement is agreeing with you that indeed these Abrizak looks alike, looks similar, resembles the father. They're just like as alike as 2 peas. So, subject, singular, tense, present, statement, positive. Very fast, you remind yourself of to a positive statement or a sentence, we are entitled to add a negative question tag. Therefore, relate the 3 with the do, does, and did. As I say, Abrizak is singular and is a he. Therefore, he goes with the does. The sentence is positive, the question tag shall be negative. The negative form of does plus not that is does not. And does not is abbreviated as doesn't. And because Abrizak is a he, our question tag shall be doesn't he. So yesterday I gave you 4 questions for practice. Today I'll also leave you with a simple exercise on the same on question tag. But before I give you out the exercise, it's good to put at the back of your mind that a question tag is a question put at the end of a sentence, seeking for clarification or confirmation from the listener. And the expected answer or response, that's important to follow the 4 basic rules. At the beginning of the statement, you should start it in a capital letter, end the statement in a comma, introduce the tag in a small letter, and end the tag in a question mark. 5 questions for practice. The instructions are insert the appropriate question tag in the following sentences. So this is an exercise. Number 1, Juma hardly comes to school early. 2, they were fighting in class. 3, she was absent from school for 2 weeks. 4, my mother is milking a cow. And finally, number 5, you haven't collected your exercise book. Those are the 5 questions for practice. Viewers, as I always tell you, Rome was not built in a day. We may have a continuation on the same. Watch me later. We sail together and you benefit more and answer these questions with relative ease. As I leave you, please, during this era of coronavirus, sanitize yourself, observe social distance, and stay corona-free. Thank you very much. God bless you.